Have you ever had that feeling where you're just stuck in a loop?
Oh, absolutely. Like constantly.
Right, like you are running the exact same flawed programming over and over again. You make the same mistakes, you react to stress the exact same way, you fall into the same bad habits, and you just want to reach behind your head, pull the cord, and unplug the machine entirely.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate matrix question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what absolutely blew my mind going through our sources today is that, well, 2,000 years ago, thinkers were debating the exact same thing.
It's crazy to think about.
It really is. Today, we are diving deep into a massive historical paradigm shift regarding what it actually means to be, quote-unquote, free. We have these incredible sources from rigorous translations of ancient scriptures to deep academic analyses of ancient philosophy.
And so our mission for this deep dive is to figure out this wild shift in ideas. Is ultimate freedom about escaping reality, or is it about melting into it? What if the goal isn't to unplug the machine, but to realize that you are the code itself?
Exactly. But to understand that mind-bending shift, we really have to start with the original blueprints of Buddhist thought. We need to look at the mechanical, strict foundations before we can appreciate how completely later thinkers rewrote the rules of the universe.
Okay, let's unpack this original escape plan first. Because nowadays, if you scroll through social media, you hear people throwing around words like karma or interconnection all the time.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
Right, and it is usually framed as this warm, fuzzy feeling, like, oh, we are all connected in this beautiful cosmic social network.
Yeah, and you're hitting on a huge modern misconception there. I mean, if we look at the foundational texts of early Buddhism, Shoki-bukyu, as it is strictly defined in the Pali Canon Nandan Daizukyu, interconnection is not a comforting hug.
It's definitely not.
No, it is a highly mechanical, precise trap. The ancient concept is called dependent origination Deinki.
And looking at the texts, dependent origination Enki isn't just a vague everything is one philosophy, right? Not at all. It is explicitly laid out as a strict 12-link chain of causality and suffering. But I need you to break this down for me, because reading a list that says ignorance leads to mental formations sounds like a dry textbook.
Right, it can be dense.
How does this actually work as a trap in real life?
Let's trace the mechanics of how it locks you in.
Okay.
Let's say you ignorantly believe that buying a brand new, wildly expensive car will finally make you feel permanently fulfilled.
Okay, I can relate to that.
We all can, right? So that fundamental ignorance triggers a mental formation, an impulse or a plan. That impulse colors your consciousness, which then leads to a physical and mental craving.
So the ignorance directly breeds the craving. You start obsessing over the car.
Correct. And that craving hardens into clinging. Your identity becomes wrapped up in obtaining this thing. But here's the mechanism of the trap. Reality is constantly changing. So when you inevitably face the friction of reality, maybe you go into massive debt to get the car, or a week later someone scratches the door, or, the thrill just fades, you experience deep dissatisfaction. Suffering.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And to escape that suffering, you ignorantly grasp for the next thing, and the cycle loops.
So in this framework, what we call daily life is essentially the trap itself. It's just an engine generating suffering. And the ultimate goal is a prison break.
That is the strict early definition of liberation agitatsu. That's Beibatsu. The realization of no self-muga is the tool you use to actively break this 12-link chain. You are trying to sever the causal links so the machine permanently stops running.
That makes sense. And the sources have some incredibly visceral imagery for this. There's this one text, the Milinda, which features a dialogue between a monk and a king.
Yes, I love that one.
They use these intense metaphors to describe what this freedom actually feels like.
The metaphors in the Milinda are intentionally stark. The text compares nirvana nehan to an antidote, specifically a gata medicine. It describes a world of cause and effect as a lethal poison, and nirvana nehan as the medicine that completely neutralizes the venom.
It also uses the metaphor of an ocean, but not like a pleasant beach vacation. It describes a pristine, vast ocean that is completely free of defiled corpses.
Exactly. That corpse imagery really underscores their worldview. The endless cycle of rebirth and craving is seen as an ocean choked with decay. Liberation is reaching an entirely separate, pure ocean, totally untouched by that rod.
Wow. An ocean free of corpses. So to summarize the early blueprint, early Buddhism, Shoki-bukyu, is fundamentally about escaping. You are trying to leave the conditioned Wu world, the messy world of cause, effect, and suffering, to reach the unconditioned Mui peace.
You are stepping out of the web of cause and effect entirely. The unconditioned Mui is the ultimate peace because nothing can trigger a new reaction.
But this brings us to a massive historical crossroad, because if the world is a burning house and the goal is just to sprint out the door, why didn't the philosophy just stop there? What was the friction that forced a completely new way of thinking?
Well, the friction was largely driven by a philosophical and moral crisis. Thinkers began to ask, if ultimate enlightenment means permanently escaping into the unconditioned Mui, what happens to everyone left behind in the burning house?
Oh, I see.
Right. If a Buddha embodies infinite compassion, how can they justify leaving the matrix while others are still trapped?
Ah, so there was an internal contradiction. Escaping feels almost selfish if you look at it from a cosmic scale.
That tension birthed the massive philosophical earthquake of Mahayana Buddhism Daiju Bukyu. This wasn't just a software patch, it was a total redefinition of reality.
A paradigm shift.
Exactly. This new paradigm is powerfully expressed in the Avatamsaka Sutra Kigongyu, which later became the foundation for the highly complex Huayan philosophy Kigon Shis.
Let's talk about the Avatamsaka Sutra Kegongyu, because the imagery in this text is basically psychedelic. It introduces a figure called the Vairocana Buddha Virushanabutsu. And this isn't just a wise historical teacher sitting quietly under a tree.
No, the scale of Vairocana Buddha Virushanabutsu is really hard to fathom. In this text, this figure is the literal, physical embodiment of the entire universe. Every star, every galaxy, every thought, every sentient being is a cellular component of this cosmic Buddha.
Wait, hold on. This sounds majestic, but we need to address the obvious problem here.
Go for it.
If my body is literally a cell in a cosmic enlightened Buddha, why do I feel hungry? Why am I stressed about paying my rent? How did they justify the existence of suffering if the universe is already divine?
That is the exact skepticism that drove the great academic minds of the era. I mean, the messy world of traffic jams and heartbreaks doesn't magically disappear. We can see how they resolve this in the writings of the brilliant scholar Chengguan.
What did he say?
He argued that the Dharma realm, the ultimate truth of reality, isn't some separate, distant heaven you escape to. It's rooted entirely in the pure mind.
So the pure mind and the messy rent-paying world are actually the same thing, just viewed differently.
You're touching on the core shift. The conditioned world of suffering and the unconditioned truth are inseparable. Chengguan taught that you are already inside the ultimate reality. Your perception of it is just fractured by ignorance.
That completely flips the script.
It does. Liberation Gadatsu completely flips. It is no longer about escaping the world to find an unconditioned peace. It becomes about melting into the cosmic web right here, right now.
Okay, but this raises an even bigger question for me.
What's that?
If we just meld into this cosmic web, if everything is just one giant Buddha body, don't we just become a featureless blob of cosmic soup?
Right.
Do we lose who we are? Like, if I'm just a drop of water returning to the ocean, I don't exist anymore.
And that is exactly what critics at the time said. They vigorously pushed back against this cosmic soup idea. To explain how the philosophers resolved this, we have to look at the master theorizations of the Huayan masters.
Who are we talking about?
Specifically, we need to look at Fazang and his monumental text, the Tangshuanji Kegunju Tangjinki, alongside the later refinements by Chengguan.
So how do Fazang and Chengguan mathematically or philosophically prove that we don't become cosmic soup?
By completely redefining how cause and effect work. They introduced the concepts of Dharma realm-dependent origination, Hokkai Engi, and the one true Dharma realm, Ishin Hokkai. They argued that reality is not a soup where everything blends into nothingness.
Let's ground those terms. How is Dharma realm-dependent origination Hokkai Engi different from the 12-link trap we talked about earlier?
Well, the early 12-link chain is linear. Ignorance causes craving, craving causes suffering. It's a straight line pulling you forward.
Like dominoes falling.
Exactly. But Dharma realm-dependent origination Hokkai Engi proposes that every single phenomenon in the universe simultaneously creates and is created by every other phenomenon in existence.
All at once. Man, I am struggling to visualize that. If everything is causing everything all at once, wouldn't reality just collapse into a static hum? I saw a phrase in Fazang's notes, something called Indra's net, Honestly, it sounded like a sci-fi defense system. Can that help us picture this?
Oh, it is the single most perfect visualization for this concept. Ancient Indian cosmology describes a great deity named Indra Taishakuten. Hanging over his divine palace is a vast, infinite net that spans the entirety of the cosmos.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
This is Indra's net totemu. And at every single intersection of this infinite net, at every knot, there is a multifaceted, perfectly polished jewel.
So imagine an endless grid, a canopy of infinite jewels stretching in every direction.
Right. Now zoom in on just one single jewel. Because its surface is infinitely faceted, if you look closely, you will see the reflection of every other jewel in the entire infinite net shining within.
Like standing between two mirrors, but spherical. A totally holographic universe.
Yes. But the mechanics of this reflection are what Huayan philosophy Kigan Shisu calls unimpeded interpenetration, Jiji Hokkai. The reflection doesn't stop.
Wait, what do you mean it doesn't stop?
That single jewel reflects the net, but each of the reflected jewels inside it is also reflecting all the other jewels, which are reflecting all the other jewels on into infinity.
Oh, wow. Okay, my brain is starting to melt. So my jewel contains your jewel, but inside the version of you that is inside me, you contain me again, endlessly.
That dizzying sensation is you grasping unimpeded interpenetration, Jiji Hokkai. There's no center to this net, and there is no edge. It means that every single thing, a speck of dust, a thought, a person, contains the totality of the universe perfectly, without any obstruction.
So returning to the cosmic soup problem, this is the answer.
Precisely. A jewel in Indra's net temu does not lose its individual shape or its specific position just because it reflects the whole.
Right.
In fact, it is exactly because it holds its unique position in the net that it can reflect the universe in a way that no other jewel can. If you erase one single jewel, the infinite reflections in all the other jewels fundamentally change.
Which means your individuality isn't an illusion to be destroyed. It is structurally essential to the absolute truth.
That is the ultimate paradigm shift. Think about the concept of the self. In early Buddhism, Shokiboku, the components that make up our individuality, our physical form, our feelings, our perceptions, are called the five aggregates.
Right. And originally, those were the trap.
Yes, originally these were viewed as the fuel for the trap. They were the links in the chain that needed to be discarded to achieve no-self Muge.
But in the framework of unimpeded interpenetration Jiji Hokkai, those aggregates aren't a trap at all.
They are the very facets of your jewel. The five aggregates gun are no longer a prison to escape from. In Mahayana Buddhism, Teju Bukyu, your specific collection of aggregates, your quirks, your memories, your physical form, even your flaws, makes you a completely unique node in the net.
That is incredibly beautiful.
You don't lose yourself. You realize that your highly individualized existence contains the entire universe.
That completely blows my mind. I mean, we went from viewing the world as a burning house or an ocean of corpses that we desperately need to sprint away from, to viewing the world as an infinite glittering net where every single point, including us, is vital and sacred.
And what's truly remarkable about the Huayan masters is that they didn't just leave this as an abstract academic exercise. It is a practical blueprint for how to engage with reality. If unimpeded interpenetration, Jiji Hokkai, is the true nature of reality, it means you do not have to retreat to an isolated cave to find ultimate truth.
Because the ultimate truth is completely present in whatever is right in front of you.
Every single interaction, every moment of suffering, every moment of joy, it is all reflecting the entire infinite web.
Which brings us entirely back to you, the listener, right now. Think about your own five aggregates gun. Think about your daily routine. If the philosophy of unimpeded interpenetration Jiji Hokkai is true, then the mundane actions of your day aren't a barrier to some higher spiritual goal. Pouring your morning coffee, sitting in annoying bumper-to-bumper traffic, or even just listening to this deep dive, none of it is a distraction from enlightenment. It is the universe experiencing itself from a completely unique vantage point that has never existed before and will never exist again. You don't need to pull the plug or find an exit door to escape the machine. You just have to realize you're a jewel shining brilliantly within the net.
Finally, we have a brief apology and a request. Here at AI Buddhism University, we try our best to minimize the mispronunciation of complex Buddhist terminology. But due to the limitations of AI technology, some occasional errors might slip through. Please forgive us. If you have any advice on how to improve the AI's pronunciation, we would love to borrow your wisdom, so please let us know in the comments. We will continue to cover fascinating topics like biographies of great monks, sutra explanations, and the hidden history of Buddhism, so we are also waiting for your topic requests in the comments. If you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. We'll see you in the next explanation. Thank you for Luz.